On this week's episode, we review the new film from Denis Villeneuve, Dune.
And other pop culture news.
We just got back from seeing Dune. Totally worth the wait. Totally worth scrambling to read the book in the last couple of weeks because it's 800 pages and it's just kind of a lot. But yeah, what'd you think?
It was good. We're gonna do a spoiler alert since it's a known book. It's a really old known book. Has several versions of. There's other movies, at least 2 other movies. There's a TV series, a TV show. So, yeah, it's not gonna hide anything. Yeah, so it was good. I really liked it. Villeneuve has this way to do films that it's very it's very unique. You can tell his the movie has action. The movie has feelings. There's a couple of jokes. Nothing. Not too much. Not
much at all.
Yeah. But it has everything. It has great characters. It has great casting. Visually stunning.
Holy cow!
And I picture some other director doing it, and it would be too campy or a lot of action. And in this one, the movie, it feels like a book almost.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It's very deep into the characters, very deep into the situation, to the point that the first movie, this one is called Dune, and as soon as the movie starts, nowhere else it shows, but as soon as the movie starts, part 1.
Which, having read just one of the first of the first trilogy of books, made my heart very happy, because there's no way you could even do the first book with one movie. So I'm just so relieved that he's not even trying that.
Yeah. So, which is interesting from the production aspect is there's no sequel signed, being pre-produced. There's no sequel guaranteed. There's no guarantee that he will come back. There's no guarantee that they will hire him back. So it's one. They might announce Monday morning after the box office.
After the weekend.
That, they're going to be a sequel. And they're going to have to see if he's going to be involved because... we don't know. There's no fact about the sequel, but this one is clearly not the entire story of the book.
That's right. This one ends about half-ish way through the novel Dune.
Yeah, and I felt
not the trilogy, just
And I felt by the trailers, by the production images, I felt like they would not do. I mean, first I felt they would not do. One movie only, that they would try to make this a franchise if it's not already.
Yeah, there's certainly the material for it.
And I felt like from what we got from the trailers, good trailers, nothing nothing that would spoil the movie, but it would only entice you and excite you to see the movie if you knew the source material or not. But from the trailer, I felt this is not gonna progress much, which is a good thing,
Yeah.
If you're gonna adapt source materials from different universes, you don't have to hurry up and try to fit things. You have to use the time. Snyder used 4 hours to tell Justice League, or divided in six parts. Or some other superhero movies that try to do entire story in one movie when it ends up with weak villains, weak plots, plot holes,
or confusing things.
I
feel like that happened a lot in in Harry Potter.
In the MCU, for instance, because they do that, they waste villains. It's like
Yes.
beginning, middle, end. Move, villain's done, move on, or the villain becomes a good guy, and they do something is very peculiar. They stick to the classics of the characters, tell something the origins, the classics of the characters, and try to connect to something new. Like the first Iron Man, for instance, they introduce Iron Man, and then at the end show Nick Fury and talks about the Avengers Initiative, which was something fairly new around the time of the movie, but compared to the original Iron Man, and the Avengers Initiative was like, I don't know, some 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
So when you did that, it's like you shrink the time in a way that you're killing a lot of stories you could tell in between that, and that's an only example, but it's not even the best one. But in this one, he took the time, he told the story, and introduced the characters, and even characters that have very few lines or no lines, or very short screen time. They shine.
They really do, and they really do. This, we already said spoiler alert, so I can tell you this. Don't get too attached to anybody. In a lot of ways, this starts out kind of like Game of Thrones. They might seem like a main character. There's no guarantees that anybody's going to make it.
You talked about that, Game of Thrones, and I had the very Game of Thrones feeling. It was like very more political than I remember the originals were.
Yes.
So is the book like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the book. So there's a lot of complicated, political machinations happening behind the scenes between like the Emperor and the Harkonnens, and then the Atreides, and then there's this guild that we haven't heard much about. And then of course there's the Bene Gesserit. So there's a lot of political stuff. There's just like the general action, the battle, the survival, all that stuff. But then there's all this very mystical stuff. And as I was reading, I was really curious how in the world he was going to get this onto the screen in a successful way. Because you mentioned that a lot of the characters don't have many lines. There aren't many lines in the book. Most of the book is going between people's inner thoughts, or inside their heads, and what they're thinking and what they're feeling, and you can't really do that on screen. And he did a really good job.
So none of those big conversations is like the Duke talking to Poe. It's like, my son, leadership, grandpa.
Yeah, no.
There's nothing. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, their conversations are very limited. And this is one area where I think he was very successful in that he was able to communicate all of that on screen in a way that felt really natural and still very true to the story of Dune. But in a way that worked.
Yeah.
That worked in the movie. But yeah, there isn't a lot of dialogue. A lot of these characters are very important, but that doesn't mean they have much to say. It doesn't mean they spend much time on screen. But he stuck with that. He was very true to that. And as far as this makes Game of Thrones look like child's play in terms of the scope and the scale of all of it. And again, I've only read the one book. It's huge.
Is there any big differences from besides that one, from the book to the movie?
Honestly, I didn't notice
new
many
characters, or characters that they didn't use from the book.
So one big difference, Dr. Liet Kynes, the ecologist, is actually a man in the books.
Okay.
But in terms of the role the character plays,
the same.
Yeah, it's all exactly the same. So it's just a casting thing. It doesn't really change anything.
And what happens to him in the book and the movie is the same.
It's pretty similar. Most of the changes happened are the kinds of things you expect to see in a movie where characters get condensed. Baron Harkonnen actually has two nephews, Beast Rabban and Phaedratha, and here they're combined into one, which is Dave Bautista's character. So things like that. Characters get condensed. Inner monologues become conversations. There's some of the events get a little bit condensed or streamlined. So they might combine to like combine two separate events into like one moment. So stuff like that, but everything important happened. Yeah.
So the emperor is mentioned many times. The emperor is manipulating two houses. The house Atreides and the house Harkonnen.
Yeah.
To basically destroy each other, because one seems to have to be gaining power and popularity, and you would be a threat. And the other one is like richer. It's like beyond even the emperor. So the emperor is manipulating all these people to fight each other and kill each other. So he kills two houses, two problems with one stone.
Yeah.
In the book, does the emperor show up at all in the first part?
At the very end.
Not the first part.
But in the first part, no.
At all, okay.
No, he's always. He's always kind of behind the scenes.
Interesting. It's a very Star Wars-ish thing, right? The Emperor is only mentioned on the first movie.
Yeah.
And barely appears in the second movie. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
There are a lot. I feel like I haven't read any Joseph Campbell or gotten too far into it, but in a lot of ways this does follow like the hero's journey. We have a chosen one, and shocking, violent events take him away from a life of safety and comfort and force him into this. One change is that in the book, Paul is very comfortable taking on this mantle. Mm-hmm. Here in the movie, we see him kind of struggling with it, like, what if I don't want to be the Duke, or, what if I don't want to be this Bene Gesserit, whatever.
And that's pretty.
But in the book, he doesn't go through that crisis.
And that's pretty. I don't know how scripted the book is, but this is pretty clear on the casting choice. They choose this like weak, small man, that would naturally feel insecure about becoming the leader of a great house.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? So differences. There was one question, because I watched everything else they had before. Mm-hmm. I think there's one with Sting even.
Yes.
But I don't remember. It has been a long time ago. Mm-hmm. The one question that I was having was about language, names. Are they quite the same in the book?
Yeah.
The mythology, the Habik, Hahi, whatever?
Yeah.
Because it sounds a lot Arabic. I was wondering if they changed for the movie. Is the same in the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the same. All these different languages. We see them use hand signals. That's in the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that in the originals. Maybe they didn't do it.
I don't know. It's been a very long time since I saw those. So I don't know. And that's going to be something else. This movie is full of incredible detail. A lot of visual detail. So if you see it on the screen, it's there on purpose.
Okay.
And so that little mouse, there's a little mouse that shows up a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. That's important. Or the bullfighting. There's all these different background freezes we see on Caladan, and also in the palace in Arakeen. All this art in the background, and it's all important. It all matters and contributes. So he doesn't waste anything, and that's my favorite kind of movie to watch.
There's a because there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what so the bullfighter, right?
Yeah.
That's not Josh Brolin's character, right?
Correct. Josh Brolin he's part of the household. He's a bard / warrior.
But he's not he's not
family.
A brother of family.
No.
Because they call him Grammy.
No, Gurney.
Gurney
is his name.
Yeah, Gurney. I know it's his name, but it's there's a moment that they call him Gurney Alec, right?
Yeah, Gurney Halleck is his name. And
I thought, maybe Halleck is the name, and Gurney is a nice way to call uncle or to call grandpa. So he's not.
He's not.
Okay.
No, he's part of the household. The bullfighter is Duke Leto's. So Oscar Isaac's that character. The bullfighter is his dad. And they make a big deal out of this in the book, that in the dining room, in the great hall in the dining room, they have a portrait of the old Duke on one side, and they have this mounted bull's head on the other side, and it's the bull that killed his dad.
Oh.
And they didn't clean it up either, so this bull's horns are like covered in the blood and gore of the old
Yeah,
book.
they mentioned that. They don't mention that, right?
They mention it barely in passing. Not the blood, but that...
Oh, well, grandfather was a bullfighter, and he says, yeah, and...
Look where that got him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. On the movie, what happened to Gurney? I missed it.
We don't know. He kind of disappears into the fighting.
Okay. I was like...
Yeah.
Did I miss him? Okay, I'm glad that... Okay.
Yeah.
He might come back. Okay. Okay.
There's something else. Oh, there's this great scene when Dr. Liette Kynes is killed. It's like it's this incredible detail. So they stab her through the back, and she's wearing a still suit, which like preserves all of her water, right? So we see this water come out of the wound. And it's so cool because that's how the Fremen view death, that like when people die, they're like, we have to save their moisture, and they actually like render down the bodies to recover whatever water they can from it. And then so when they kill her, like she loses her moisture, and it just like it's this great visual for showing how like water is life on Arrakis, and how crucial that is to and we'll see more of that in the next one.
Okay.
How crucial that is to the Fremen. But it's like that kind of like little detail that this movie is full of. It's like really thoughtful. You can tell this guy like loves these books because he so thoughtfully put everything together and just layered detail upon detail to tell a huge story in a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
It's really well done.
Yes, Dune by Denis Villeneuve, and great casting.
Yeah, starring everybody.
It's it's really good. Recommend. It's available in theaters everywhere and on HBO Max.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, but recommend you go see on IMAX. It's big.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth it. Oh, and Hans Zimmer did the score. So just if we need to.
Oh, the score is something else.
It's really interesting.
The score is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
It's very alien.
Yeah. No, it's
good. Of course, it's good. It's Hans Zimmer. But yeah.
Anyway. Well. Anything else?
It's fabulous. Go see it. I loved it. Having just read the book, you really enjoyed it.
I really liked
having
it.
Not read the book.
It brought was from the originals, and this is an elevated version.
Yeah.
I feel.
I promise I'll stop after this. There were a couple things that I felt like were throwbacks to the
like what?
The adaptations. The voice. So they have this voice that Jessica and Paul have this voice they can use to command people. And in the book, they don't really describe it that much. Like it doesn't sound all that different.
Yeah.
From their regular voice.
It's more like a mental command, but with regular voice.
Kind of like they pitch their voice in just the right way. Or I don't. But in the old movies, that's something I remember. They have this like very witchy sound, and they really went for that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They really went for that here. And some of the aesthetic too, I feel like really was a throwback to like those early 80s sci-fi.
Okay.
Which was cool.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all.
Okay. Dune. It's out there. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Also this week we saw the finale of Only Murder in the Building. And until the very last scene in the show, I thought the show was only murderers in the building. It's actually only murders in the building.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't catch?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Because I thought it was like about the people that are murderers, and it's actually about murders.
Yeah.
And at the end they have a joke. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But last week we catch the episode where our main characters find a device that they think is a sexual toy.
Which, to be fair, it does look very uncomfortable.
But fans everywhere notice, and fans that know music, that know buffoons, that know bassoons, yes, or they know sex toys, you know, it was like half. The people that know sex toys knew there wasn't a sex toy yet. Maybe they gonna become a thing. And the people that know bassoons knew that it was like, hey, that's the clean bassoon. So it was like, boom. Last week, a lot of people were like, in fact, there were people that noticed that as soon as it popped into the show, like second or third episode, and
which I love because they didn't withhold any information from us.
It was right
we
there.
We didn't catch the clue. I didn't catch the clue.
I didn't.
Not being familiar with bassoons.
I didn't until the show the second time. Like, like you know, like a good a plot goes is like a little bit before or at the same time the main character does. So last week that happened. So in this week it was revealed that there was a big clue, and the bad guy, the murderer, was what's that bucket? From The Office. I tried to remember them in The Office. Holly Flax.
Yeah.
From Nashua.
Except in this one she's called Jan.
Yeah, she's called Jan, that's right.
Which is great because like she's the murderer here, and so they give her the name of Michael's evil girlfriend. Perfect.
Yes. And it was good. Mm-hmm. Great performances by everybody.
Yeah, it was great. I feel like this was the episode they were saving. I don't know if they were saving up for it or restraining them previously, but we saw some of like Martin Short's and Steve Martin's like very like physical, goofier comedy. Mm-hmm. Spectacular performances from both of them, but especially Steve Martin. He ends up like partially paralyzed and like rolling around and using his legs and just in bizarre ways. So very funny, even though as the drama like really heightens and they're about to get killed and yeah, it was great. It was a spectacular finale.
Yeah, and the show was renewed for second season. Mm-hmm. I guess it was renewed before the finale, but now we know the show was renewed, and the show ends in a big cliffhanger.
It does.
A cliffhanger that started in the very first episode.
It did, and that was another thing I liked about this finale is like they're wrapping up. All the loose ends are tied. Everything's neat and tidy and ready to go. But we kept thinking like, no, Selena Gomez Mabel has to find or has to be discovered all covered in blood hovering over a dead body. And that hasn't happened yet. So when is this going to happen? It doesn't happen until the very end. So really great finale.
Which was actually only the beginning.
Yes. Everything's done and dusted and like, oh, just kidding. It's worse than ever before.
Yeah. So. No, it was good. I'm glad they're coming back. Tina Fey show up at the end to make a joke because she's a big podcast person, and her assistant says something. So I like that. Mm-hmm. I wrote that.
Yeah.
That belongs to
you
me
understand now. This is mine now. If you say anything, you'll be stocking the NPR fridge with LaCroix until you're 50.
Yeah, just like Hollywood does. Ideas belongs to people with power, not to the creative. Anyways, so only murders in the building is coming soon for a second season, and if it's good as the first one, it's gonna be
it was great, like 0 dud episodes.
Oh no, short and sweet as shows should be, and like really short because every episode is not no more than 30 minutes.
Yeah,
but
they don't feel like that. There's so much happens. Yeah. They feel so much longer, but in a good way. It's hilarious. It has a lot of heart, a lot of like just emotion, great mystery. It's a great show.
No, Hulu nailed it.
They did.
Still about Hulu.
Yeah.
They lost.
Why? Do you want to talk about Hulu?
Because it sucked. Oh. Anyways, Hulu's adaptation, FX on Hulu, adaptation of Y, The Last Man, the comic book about the only man surviving in a entire planet, a man and his monkey, survive a plague that kills every other man.
Every other mammal with a Y chromosome.
Yeah. So, mammal. Wait, is it only mammals?
I think
reptiles, animal.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what.
You said mammal, but I think it's
was
animals.
it mammals or just anyway? Well, yeah, it's not just men, but like anything. With the Y chromosome.
Yeah, the
dogs, elephants.
Male gender.
Yeah.
So they had this show. It was like it's been going on. There's just a couple more episodes into the end, and they canceled. It's like, no, I'm not gonna do more.
Yeah.
And knowing a little bit of the source material, it's like they go to directions and they deal with stuff that it takes away from the show, from the main story, and the main story is super interesting. You know, there's this plague, and there's the survivor, and they gonna find a scientist to deal with that, to find a solution to save mankind, actually, because if you don't have man, woman cannot have babies, and mankind in one generation, maybe two.
Yeah, really get extinction for the planet.
Yeah, the planet, because of the other animals too. And first to deal with this whole big catastrophe, and then to do after, and then to prepare to fix the situation. Anyways, the show wasn't doing much justice to the books. And I guess
it was terrible.
Yeah,
I wanted to love it. It's such a cool premise. They had like a neat cast, and it started out well, and then it went downhill. Like, it was making me angry. The writing, like, it was that bad. It was that bad. And this plot that had so much going for it, they just relied on characters making like really stupid decisions.
Yeah.
And weak stereotypes, and it was just it could have been so good, and it was terrible. So I'm not sad.
You could see elements of the checklist. They wanna mark, check mark, to either preach a narrative, or to either talk about some characters in real life that they want to go against and all that, and that took away from the whole thing. And the show was canceled. There's rumors that they might try to go somewhere else, but I don't think it would do them any good. And they should just bury, and just maybe in the future they would try to do it again. A different creative.
It could be a really cool show.
A different creative team, and see what happens. I can't remember if the creators were like in a fight with the producers of the show before the show aired. I can't remember, but I think there was something like that. Anyways, the show is dead, but there's still a couple episodes coming. Would not be surprised if there's a cliffhanger, because a TV show, when it's not a mini series, they want to do more, and usually they finish cliffhangers to make you wait for 6 months for the next season, which in this case you can read the books. If you want to read the books, you can find them on Comixology. You can try to find comic book stores, and all the issues are available on DC Universe Infinite.
Right on.
Yeah, if you wanna read the books, you can subscribe and check. I recommend.
Speaking of DC Universe, DC Fandom was a spectacular success last week.
Yes.
How spectacular was it?
It was a double?
Triple?
It was triple?
I don't know. You wrote down a word here that I don't understand. You wrote down more than fubble?
Double.
Oh, you meant double?
Yeah, double.
Okay.
Autocorrect.
Oh, I got you.
That failed because fubble is not a word.
It's not.
Word.
Maybe it should be.
Yeah.
It's like, did you mean quadruple?
No, it's double. The more than double the number of last year.
Yeah, they reached 66 million views.
Yeah, worldwide. Yeah. And it's like to be honest, I think it's well deserved, because the show this year was way better. Short and sweet. I mean, shorter. It wasn't short, but it was shortened and sweet. Yeah. Even though there was some stuff there that was like, it's like, why are you talking about Bad Woman and the Flash? It shows that are going in, not super exciting, but everything else was really good. Yeah,
they premiered a lot of great content. Good, like, thoughtful interviews, and cool.
And they edited, which made it better.
Yeah, it was very tight and cleaned up.
Last year was like they did a panel with the cast of Wonder Woman. Let's talk, and then they talked for like hours, no editing.
Yeah. Excuse me, but no, this year it was good, and it paid off, and so I hope this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Of many years. To
Oh,
come.
I have a dream that in the future, we might not have content enough yet, but I have a dream of like DC Comics, like Marvel Comics and Image and Dark Horse and stuff like that. They will have, their own channel.
Yeah.
And if not channel, streaming services. But because of licensing rights, and there's Netflix on some, that Warner one some, and then like Sony, and it's like it still might not happen. But to have this every year, it's a good start.
Yeah, it is, and it's fun to have an event. It makes it special.
And who knows, maybe. Which again is one of the commodities of the comfortables of the online virtual world, that they can do that, and there might never be a con like that. Or maybe we'll see in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, they do it for Star Wars. They do it for Disney.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Star Trek always did for them.
Yes.
Themselves.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They did. All right. Well, speaking of great hits. There's a new hit called Let's Go Brandon. It's soaring to the top of the charts.
Yeah. If you know what Let's Go Brandon is,
yeah.
It's F Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So making the story short,
a commentator.
It was I think it was NASCAR, was it?
That sounds right.
It was a sport event. I can't remember the details, but the crowds, and who knows how that started or why that started. They start screaming, yelling like crowds in the sport events do.
As they do, yes.
Yeah, and there was like, F Joe Biden, F Joe Biden. And the newscaster or reporter that was there is like, oh, look, the crowds are really excited. They say, let's go, Brandon. BS.
A valiant attempt at a save, but wrong, sir. Anyway.
So that gained the world in so many different shapes and forms. It happened again in different events and memes everywhere. And someone made a song. And the song is top of the charts.
What a world we live in.
Yeah, so good for the guy that did it. He's making some good money with that.
And we just like to say our thoughts and prayers are with anybody named Brandon right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways. Okay, so there's all the fun news. This week also saw a horrific accident on set. On the set of this really cool sounding indie movie called Rust. This is starring Alec Baldwin, and it was a Western, and so they're handling a lot of prop weapons.
Yes.
And in this case, everybody's probably heard by now because this is huge, such a shocking event. But he fired what was supposed to be a prop gun loaded with blanks, and it turned out to be a hot gun. It had a bullet in it, and so the bullet killed the cinematographer and injured the director, in just this horrible accident.
Yeah, and there's a lot about it that's still surrounded by mystery, secrecy, or curiosity. For instance, there was a group of union workers for the production that quit moments before that, and that just brings like mystery to it. And apparently the assistant director cleared the gun before the scene, and there's I don't and there's the whole it's a tragedy. A life was lost. She was a wife and a mother. She was a terrific cinematographer and worker, and everybody liked her. and the guy Alec Baldwin that shot her, and unless he wanted to do it, and I'm not saying he did, and considering that he didn't want to do that, but he still killed her.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
In his head, that's traumatizing for the rest of his life, because
that's such a horrible thing to carry.
And things are being investigated, and just one thing about prop guns. That happened before with Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee. He was on the set of The Crow, superhero comic book hero character, one of the darker one, and similar thing happened, and he got shot and died, and Bruce Lee has that whole the curse and stuff, and
a lot of tragedy.
Yeah. But similar thing happened to his son. So one thing about prop guns is a lot of people might not get how it works. Is an actual gun, but what's loaded in it is not a bullet. It's a blank. It just pops. It doesn't throw a projectile.
Yeah, which, to be clear, can still be dangerous. And there's another actor who died because he didn't understand how dangerous it was, and so he's playing around with it and fired it and ended up...
Yeah, what was that?
I don't remember his name, but...
What did he put in his head? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's still risky, and there's supposed to be someone on set whose only job is to be checking all this stuff.
Yes. Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Anyway.
It's no. Yeah. It's so it's okay. It should be taken care of. We work with all the care and all the because it's a gun. Even a pellet gun, even a BB gun. When you shoot, you feel like poof. And they recommend, even if a BB gun is don't shoot people in the eye because they might blind them. Yeah. Because it's a projectile that comes super fast, and it's gonna hit you, it's gonna hurt you. And in case of BB guns, could. So a real gun, even if a blank, it's still dangerous. Yeah. But another mystery, another very controversial thing surrounding this whole thing is, sure, weapon, blanks. How and why the heck they had real ammo there?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Because yeah, there's you're never gonna use a real because even if you I don't know, it's sad, it's tragic.
Yeah.
And our prayers and good feelings to the family, and let's hope they figure this out so this never happens again, so this never repeats.
Yeah, so the people involved here can have closure and move on, and so it never happens again. Okay, let's end on a positive note.
Yes.
So Fast and the Furious is all about family, to the point that they take it even off the set. Which I was thinking, this is probably a big part of why this franchise is so successful for so long. These people, these actors care about each other off the set.
They became a family. Yeah,
which is why they're able to do 10,000 movies together.
And they take care of each other in many ways, Vin Diesel bring all these people back. Vin Diesel could say, it's enough, I don't want these people back. Yeah. I can move in a different direction. But no, he brings pretty much everybody back, to the point that even John Cena, he said that he had this feeling that Paul Walker brought him, and that he felt Paul Walker's presence and all that. So it's they really close, and they keep that really tight, to the point that the Walker family was still involved in the movies, even the passing of Paul. His brother was part of the last scenes where you see Paul Walker. They actually used Paul Walker's brother. And finally, this weekend,
Paul Walker's daughter got married.
Yeah, with Vin Diesel. taking her to, not with Vin Diesel.
Yeah. But he's the one.
With the one walking her down the aisle.
He stepped into that traditional father role and walked her down the aisle.
And it was
beautiful.
Really nice. Yeah, he was there on his white wife beater.
But he did wear sunglasses.
Drinking Coronas.
Yeah, he can't help himself.
Yeah.
Who knows where does Dom Toretto end or begin and Vin Diesel end? I don't know. But either way, he was there. He was there for the family and walked her down the aisle.
Yeah.
And it just warms the heart.
Yes.
Not everything is terrible.
It was.
Some things are
good.
lovely.
Yeah, I guess that's it for now this week. And we come back next with. We're going to talk about Injustice.
Yeah, new DC animated feature.
And other pop culture news. So see you next week with more. May the Force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.